so I have a really wide angle and I can get to the studio.
Oh, that's nice.
So,
Alright,
Yeah, no.
so
yeah,
some
I
of
got
this
you.
is a refresher for some of you because you've done it before. But so we just took some time to regrip the sword. So this goes with any weapon. Weapons are meant to be an extension of your own body. So whenever I teach any of these weapons or anything new, like I'm gonna go over that chart. Because that foundational movement, like you can only move your body in so many ways through time and space. So when we have something connected to it, that doesn't change, right? So we're gonna practice all of those cuts so that we get them down. And then we're gonna practice like a form, so to speak, so that you can put them together. It's, for me, I like moving along with it. But with the sword, we're gonna take the time with stationary first and then move. And then I've got a couple partner drills at the end that we can kind of apply to get, again, partner drills to get better at the foundational stuff so that we can apply those movements now, because they weren't just showing off with these swords, they were using them for a purpose. So in Korean, sword is janggum, so janggum, or should be pronounced junggum. So it depends on who does the translation. Like with most like Asian languages, when they translate, it depends on who does it, right? So it's janggum. What we're going to use today is a wooden sword. A wooden sword is given the notation mukgum. So mukgum is a wooden sword, wooden training sword. And then with the steel, this one I'm hopefully not massacring the pronunciation, but the steel trainer, which is this one, this is not a live blade, but it still has the weight and feel of a sword. So you would use your wooden sword for a while to get your techniques down, and then if you really want to start applying it, you use the steel one. And that will tell you how good your cuts are, because when you slice a certain way, you get a nice whistling sound. When you don't, you feel when it's off. So a steel trainer is called the Yongsukgum. I was missing a word. Yongsukgum. So this one, and then the live blade would be considered janggum. The unfortunate thing with like the Korean history is when the Japanese came in and occupied, they lost a lot of history. What we tend to use and what the majority of martial artists use when they do sword stuff is the Japanese sword or the Chinese sword. There's a bunch of Chinese swords out there. It's really, really difficult to find a Korean sword. And if you do find it, be prepared to shell out a lot of money, because the sites that I've dabbled on, they're all custom jobs, and by the time I'm done putting my custom sword together, I may have overdone it, but I can usually spend a good $6 grand on a sword. Yeah, it's real easy, right? They're not cheap. So we make do with what we have. The Japanese swords are nice as well. The difference between the Japanese and the Korean swords is the Japanese blades tended to be a little bit straighter than this, but there was more than one version. Just like there were with the Chinese swords, there's more than one version of sword out there. The one that just tended to become more popular is the Japanese sword. You have Kendo. Kendo is one of those practices where it's a competition, almost like sword sparring, that has a set amount of rules. And then just the popularity of Japanese martial arts in general tended to overshadow the Korean martial arts, especially with the weapons training. Fun side note is most of the Korean martial arts, especially like even the bigger organizations, didn't have a weapons program until World Tung Soo came along. Grandmaster Shin basically started implementing weapons within his Korean system, and then people started to copy. If you look around, a lot of people, like in other organizations, they use our knife form and they use our sword form because they don't have one. So they found like videos and they've adapted it. Yeah, I've caught a couple with different patches on going, hey, I know that form, that's not yours. And I know the history of it, and I know where it came from. So it's kind of neat that, like, people tend to mimic what they think is good. Like, they wouldn't be doing it if they didn't think we were doing something right with our weapons. So we're gonna use our mukgums today. We did our assembly with them. So let's get to grip. I'm gonna get this one out of the way so I don't kick it 8 million times. On that side. Alright, so gripping the sword. there are no left-handed swordsmen, so we all grip it the same way. So the top hand is gonna be your right hand, and you're gonna grip just underneath, think about it like about 1.5 inches underneath the suit or the guard. And then the left hand is gonna be on the bottom. So when you hold it, if you can align your wrists with the handle as much as possible, this is where you're gonna get the best results. This weapon is very exact. It's not like a stick where, like, if I hit you with a stick, it's gonna hurt. If I hit you with a sword, it's gonna sting, but it's not gonna be as effective as if I slice the correct way. So that all starts in the way we hold it. Yeah, you fix it. Okay, so when I hold, think of making almost like a mouth with your hand. So when I do that, the grip goes right into my hand, and then the majority of the grip is with these bottom fingers, and then the top one is loose, right? Same one with the top hand. Here, and then the majority of it is the grip of the bottom fingers, and the top hand is this way. So I don't like doing this right off the bat because it builds a bad habit, but I've seen people instruct sword is they'll show you with the fingers out because they want to emphasize like this should be loose. However, can you see why this would be a bad thing for working with a bladed weapon? Yeah, you get in a bad habit of having your fingers stuck out, and then you're gonna lose your fingers. So I just nice like grip around this way. So this is the sword grip. We're not gonna worry about drawing it or anything today. We're just gonna work on basic cutting. Drawing is a completely different thing. So the first cut, we're gonna follow the wheel, right? We're gonna do angled cuts to start. So our first cut this way is gonna be from the right to the left. So I'm gonna bring it above my head and pull the bottom hand towards your hip. Right. So again, above your head, pull the bottom hand towards your hip. All right, so we're gonna put a little English on it. Maybe make sure it staggers as we get a little bit more active with these. So this time, when we do the pull, I want you to throw a little twist in there and use the twist in your waist to do most of the angled pull. So I'm twisting this way as I pull the sword down. Yeah. So now we're getting those nice whooshing sounds, and it shouldn't feel like a lot of effort because really I'm letting the sword fall as I twist my body and pull. Now if we want to make it even more powerful, or we're going to step forward with the cutting side. So we bring it up, step forward, and pull to that back hip. And that's your angled cut. This way. So that's your, and we would call that you could call it a one cut. I'm not going to get into the numbers. The pattern will matter. So Thomas, when you do this, you don't want to overextend, right? You want to, when I pull and I stop, right? If I overextend and I get into this habit, if I miss, you can see how bad this would be, right? So I'm here and stopping. So similarly, we have the two cut is the other way. So if we do the two cut, comes to your left side to the right. So if I'm over here for a two cut, I'm gonna come left to right and pull. With this one, you're gonna feel, your wrists will cross over, right? So when we come across the body this way, the wrists cross. So I'm here and across. Here and across. To add to it, we would step as we move forward with the leg that we're slicing that matches the hand. Good. So I'm left to right, I step left. As I'm going to cut right to left, I step right. Watch the wall.
Sorry, sir.
All right. So let's pause for a second. It's something I kind of glossed over. when we're cutting, so when we get to cutting, and we think about cutting, the cutting surface of the sword is really the only first third. Like, we're only using this much to slice with. Is the rest of it sharp? Sure, but this is what we're looking to slice with. It's still a ranged weapon. I'm still looking to take care of somebody that's further than my arms can reach. So this is what I'm looking to cut with. The back 2/3 tends to be what we block with. So think about it, it's also thicker, right? So it'll withstand a little bit more abuse if you're blocking somebody, if you have to block with that, versus the top where it's a little bit less metal there to deal with. So we have our 1 and 2 slices. Yes, sir.
If you're blocking with the base, then you also have more range. Like if someone comes in with just a straight across cut, you could tilt the sword and go over top.
And we'll
So
get
you
to
have
some
more
partner
range
drills that'll kind of show that too.
for the
So let's
side.
do the X, the full X now together. We're just gonna do it with a step. So we're gonna step, cut, bring it back. And then step with the other side, cut, bring it back. Cut, bring it back, cut. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Alright, so we'll pause there. 1 and 2 cuts are pretty common, right? If you see people hacking people up, I don't know, I like to watch a lot of movies with sword fights in them. This is a pretty common one, right? With this big sideways slash. We're gonna go side to side now for the next 2. Alright, so we made our X top to bottom, we're gonna do side to side slices. So when we do the side to side slices, we number them in 3 and 4. Elbows tight, and this is essentially what I'm doing. Pulling it across. So I'm not reaching, right? I don't want you, pardon me. I will reach, but the idea is I want to get it here, right? So I'm gonna slice out and pull in. There's the cut at the end. So if I'm trying to cut Austin in half, I need to get all the way through him. So I'm gonna reach out, just move the sword out of the way. This way, whoosh, and then I'm finished, right? Maybe he's still got some life in him because I only cut open the surface area. I've recovered for the next part, right? So let's do that 3 slice. We're gonna go from right to left. So, step forward with the right. This will make it a little bit easier mechanically. We're gonna extend and pull. Good, and then bring it back. Extend and pull. Extend and pull. And as you get it more smoothly, you want to try to keep your weapon parallel to the floor. Better. Parallel to the floor. So then if we do the opposite side, the 4 slice, it's the same thing. We start here and across. So I'm here and across. This way. This way. This way. So if I were to put all 4 of these together, moving, and we'll do that in a second as we build our solo drill form, I would go step, slice across 1, slice the other way 2, 3, 4. So I'm adding movement to this because realistically I'm not gonna stand in this place and just do this the whole time. I'm gonna be attacking through, right? So we want to be able to move with the weapon. So let's do that part together. We'll just do the first 4 counts. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's look the other way, go the other way. Good, step cut 1, across 2, side to side 3, and side to side 4. And then we'll turn. Do it again. Hana. Dual. Set. Set. Net. Good. Turn. Up. Hana. Dual. Set. Net. Good. And then turn. And relax. So now we have 4 of the 12. In our sword forms, we definitely use those 4 a lot. All right, these are pretty common. The next few, not as much, but they're part of the sequence. So we might as well know how to use them because you can also use your sword in that way. Yes, Rumi?
Could 3 and 4 maybe just a connection to a different type of sword, but they're, in German longsword, their technique's called Kronka, which is basically just this, and Swordha, which is slightly higher.
They might be similar, but remember, this weapon works differently than the German swords. So the discipline is going to be different. The techniques are going to be different. The way that you're going to defend is going to be different, right? So like I mentioned, we're using this part. I mean, I've also seen people turn completely and use the back part of the sword, right? So that would be a different type of drill. Versus, I mean, a lot of the double-bladed swords, the medieval swords, the techniques are different. I can't cut with this half, so if I need to make an attack, I have to turn it a certain way. So we did 3 and 4. We're on to the pokes. I'm just going to call it the 3 pokes. There's 5, 6, and 7. 5 is straight in, and then 6 and 7 we'll just aim at the eyes. Elbow high on one side, elbow high on the other side. Right? If you've dabbled in Filipino martial arts, it's the same set. It's the same thing. All right, so we'll do the stabs. We'll do them right off the bat as walking through. So we're gonna stab, step with the right straight. We're gonna step with the left, and you're gonna bring your right hand high, and then straight in this way. And then we're gonna bring it this way across, and then step and stab again. Cool. I think we might be able to fit. No, we can't. We're too close to the wall. All right, we're gonna turn the other way. Now we're gonna step and stab straight. Now bring your right elbow up high above your ear. Step and stab in again. Bring your left elbow up above your ear and stab again. Cool. And then we'll turn. We'll do that with 3 stabs again. So we have these numbers 5, 6, 7. Turn. 5, 6, 7. Cool. And turn. Alright, so we've got half of them. No, we've got more than half at this point. 8 is, when we're using 8 on that number wheel, that drawing over there, it's a circle. So the circle that we're gonna draw is we're gonna go from, think of being at that 6 or 7 position, and we're just gonna draw the blade around to the bottom. All right, we're just getting it there, right? This comes in different areas, but it's good to know to carve that circle. So if we're high this way, I want to carve around to the bottom. We could use this as a disarm if we want to get really technical. Go back to your original grip, flip your sword. There you go. Now bring your elbow up this way. Good. Now cut towards your left and around to the bottom. So as you're doing this, follow your blade. Your blade is here. So I'm going to carve around this way. There you go. You're carving a circle. It's the bigger version of cutting up a jack-o'-lantern, right? So we're going around this way. If I want to do the opposite side of the circle, I can go around this way. Not one we're going to use a lot tonight, so I'm not going to go crazy with that one. So after 8, now we're going to the bottom half. 9 and 10 are the opposite of 1 and 2. So 9 is a cut angled up. So with this one, I'm gonna draw that line, that angled line, from right to left. And as I do that, I'm gonna add that hip twist to get the power, because I'm not pulling with my arms, I'm guiding with my hips for the power aspect of it. This way. And then the opposite of that would be stepping with the left, cutting from the left to the right. So we're gonna go from the left, bottom of the left, up to the right. There we go. So we're making an X from the bottom to the top now. We want to turn it into a two-step drill. We're going to step, angle, slice, and then complete the X. So we'll just do a couple of those. Angle up, angle up, angle up, angle up. Here. More of a swoop. Yeah, there you go. More of a swooping motion. There.
Is it in your face?
Um,
You don't want your arms to help us. You want your hips to move along.
Hitting, it's more like, and the way it was described to me actually by the sword master down the road, is when we get to the overhead cuts, he was describing it like fly fishing. Because you're casting out, because my opponent is out there. So we're getting to that overhead cut. That's like the one that I want to finish on, because 1 is the easiest one, and 2, that's the end of, that's number 12. So let's do the sequence up to this point. We have 1 through 10. So we're gonna move back a little bit so we have enough space. We're gonna start feet shoulder width apart, swords in our ready position. We're gonna step with our right, cut across. 1, 2, 3, 4, poke 5, poke the eye 6, poke the other eye 7. From here, this is where the 8th, and the 8 helps us get in position for 9. So I'm just gonna draw that circle around until I get to the bottom right corner. And then 9 I'm gonna cut up, and then 10 I'm gonna cut up the other way with the other angle. Very good. So let's turn around and go back the other way. I'll move here so everybody can see me. This. All right. So we're starting in our ready position. 1 is cut across. 2 is cut across the other way. 3 is our side to side. 4 is the opposite direction. 5 step spear. 6 poke an eye out. 7 poke the other eye out. 8 carve it. 9 slice straight up at an angle. 10 is the other angle. Boom, and relax. 11 and 12 go together. They're up or down. So with 11, I'm going bottom to top, and 12, I'm going top to bottom. The 11 that we're gonna do today, the way we're gonna practice it, we're gonna practice it more like a block. So we're gonna do it 2 ways. First, we're gonna do it with a forward step, because that's what the solo form does. But then we're also gonna practice it with a side-to-side step, because that's how we're gonna use it to block. So with 11, we need to turn the blade up to the ceiling, and we're gonna step and drive it up this way. Right? So I need to get the blade in position, and then I follow up this way.
So reach and pull also.
So reach and pull. We're gonna use it straight up, because when we do the next drill, we're gonna use it more of a block, and then we'll allow it to do this, but the hand motion is the same. I am not doing an angle, I'm going up to get it there with that. So I'm not slicing when we do the block. We're gonna just get the hands up this way. I'm just not driving the blade up, if that makes any sense. So one more time with the slice up, we're gonna turn the blade and bring it straight up to the ceiling. Very good. Very nice. Alright, so the side to side, what we're gonna do is we're gonna step to the right, in front stance, and we're gonna bring the sword up this way. When I complete this position, there should be a little bit of an angle, because this is what's gonna be our high block, so to speak. We're blocking our head, and we want that angle for the opponent's weapon to slide off the end. So we're here, we step right, and up. We'll do the right step again, up, again, up. So I'm gonna go to the left side, I'm gonna bring the blade in the opposite direction, point in the opposite direction, up. Here, up, this way. So now we have 11. We might as well do 12 so we complete the set. 12 is that the cut that you guys probably would, the first time you pick up a sword, what most people do. Ah, like that's your cut. That's your off with his head cut.
We did this with.
Trust me, I can cut your head off with that one too. But this is that traditional, like everybody sees this cut. So there's a couple ways to do this, and it just really depends on what the purpose of it is. The really, like if I'm going for a really big cut, we're taught to touch the back of the spine and then this way. So I am here and casting over my head this way. So this is just think of it as a ready posture, right? A ready posture, and then I'm reaching out. So I'm ready posture, reaching out. The same thing happens like if I'm guarded up down, right? I don't always go to the back, but this, remember, bigger motions will teach you how to do the technique better than jumping to the short ones right off the bat. Nice. Good. And pause. So when you get those really good cuts, you can feel that, right? Like it feels different than the ones that, you can tell if it's a really, really good one or just like a mediocre one or one that didn't, wasn't that great. It's, I keep going to point to my steel blade, but they're precision weapons. They're, like I said, with the stick, I can hit Rumi with the stick, and it's gonna hurt, and then, target is gonna improve upon that. But with the sword, I want it to cut him. I don't just want it to hurt him, I want it to cut him. So in order to make it cut the way, the blade has to be moved through time, space, and eventually meat, bones, and other things to complete that cut. So this one, these swords in particular are slicing weapons, and just from the little bit of reading that I've done, a lot of the weapons that you talk about, like the ones, they're hacking weapons. Different, like they're just going, bah, like they'll cut your arm off, but these laser precision. Lot different in the fighting side with this. So let's put the 12 of these moves together now in a form. Alright, so again, we want to be able to move through this. So we've got our sword in ready position. We're gonna step, cut across, 1. Step again, cut across, 2. We have cut across side to side, 3. Other side, 4. We're now in position of poke, 5. Poke an eye, 6. Poke another eye, 7. We're gonna step as we draw this circle because it helps get us in position. So we're gonna draw this circle from the top to the bottom for 8. 9, we're gonna flip the blade. Step as we slice angled. We're gonna bring it around and step as we slice in the other angle for 10. All right, so now we're getting a little cramped for space. Don't worry, we're gonna turn around soon. With 11, I'm gonna bring it through And as I step, I'm gonna turn. So I'm gonna bring it up and turn this way. It's that straight up move. Hey, look, we're in position for that number 12, so we're gonna step down and 12. Cool. So to go back, we're all in this position. We're just gonna reset, and we'll do it again. So we have step angled 1, other angle 2, side to side 3, woo, side to side 4, poke 5, poke 6, poke 7, around 8, angled up 9, angled up 10. All right, we're gonna bring it around as we go straight up and pivot 11, and then 12, and rest. Okay. This is the part I plan on like videoing as an instructional thing. Like as we're doing, it's good. You're learning that way, and then you'll have the reference point later.
Oh,
So-
you're not gonna want me in it then.
What? I'm redoing the video.
Alright, so I won't be in it?
No,
Okay,
not the official one.
okay.
Mom, come here. No, not the official one. All right. So the whole thing together that we just did is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? It's just a flow. It's just it strings all those cuts together. Do we use all those cuts all the time? Not really. Some of them go together really well, and we're gonna do a couple of those now. So as we walk, so we're gonna put a couple of them together. So for this next one, we're gonna step with our right, and we're gonna do a 9 cut. All right, so we're gonna step with your 9, and then we're gonna pivot the sword and pivot our bodies, and there's your 1. No step. So we're gonna go 1, 2. We can even do this in place. If you want to put your right leg forward, you don't even have to do the step if you don't want to. So we're gonna twist, cut up 9, and then we're gonna turn for that cut across 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Then we can go to the other side if we want. So we can put the left leg forward and then come up here. So that would be the 10, 1. 10, 1. 10, 1. Good. Make sure your neighbor isn't going to get clocked with the sword. We could do, we're going to get to a drill in a second. So, one more thing we're going to do before we get to the partner drills and start putting these together a little way is I want everybody just to hold the sword this way, and we're going to work on a flip. And this will help with the flow of the partner drill. So the flip, we're going to draw a circle with the tip of the sword down towards the back and then back. So if you've done figure eights with the staff, that's what we're basically doing. If you watch Star Wars, yes, we're doing that now.
Oh,
Like with in the axe class too.
just a little bit more,
But
we'll be able to do
in
it
axe
only
class
handed.
we did it one-handed.
We did it one-handed. I can do it one-handed with the sword.
Yeah.
I just don't do. I wouldn't do it with the katana.
Is that maybe a might heavy?
Are there one-handed things with the Korean sword? Absolutely. There's a ton of one-handed techniques with the Korean sword. Even within our sword forms, there's a couple instances where we'll go one-handed, but it's usually just for a quick transitional move with this. So Austin's got this. We got the thing down. All right. So we're gonna do parts of the drill before I pair you up first. So make sure you have a spot so that we can do the watch the wall, sir. Make sure we're in a spot that we can do the 12 cut. So we're gonna go down this way, and we're gonna get our legs involved. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down, recover, down, recover. So I'm doing that figure 8 move in between each one. So it's cut, recover, cut, recover, cut, recover, keep your elbows a little bit tighter, recover, cut, recover, cut, recover, cut, recover, cut, recover, cut, recover, cut, recover. Cool. Alright, the other thing we practice, sorry, the other half of this drill, we practice the 11 part. We're going to come up and block. Up and block. So, I'm going to borrow Boston because he's done this before. You're going to do, this is a partner drill we're going to do that we're going to practice getting in a rhythm with working with somebody else, right? And then we're also going to get, so we can build up to working with the partner drills eventually, okay? So, one person is going to do that 12 cut. So he's just going to, same thing, cut, recover, cut, recover. I'm going to time my guard with that movement. So my part of this is step to the side, block, step to the side, block, this way. So that recover gives me time to reset. So now I'm timing my guard against his cut. Go ahead, here, here, here. You can hit the sword. There we go. Not super hard. I don't want a broken one, but a little bit of contact is good, right? And we want a little bit better workout, so I would encourage everybody, including the black belt, to get that squat in there. This one, right? This move is in one of our long sword forms, the master's form. That cut down. So we come down, we're here, right? We have to know how to stabilize and stop the weapon because I don't want it to smash into the floor, right? And I'm dropping my weight and adding that to the attack as well. So partner up. I think the orange belts would be good partners. And then Austin can help out Levi. Instead of swarming Rumi and getting in his face. All right, so one person's gonna do the overhead, and then the other person's gonna step out to the side, block, 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 in that manner, all right? Let's just put some repetitions on this. How about, do 10. 10 cuts down. Your arms, you're gonna have a really good workout with this sword. But you had to, right? Remember, precision weapons, so you gotta repeat, you gotta have the stability in it.
So you're gonna strike.
Whoa.
Strike. Other side.
Thomas, I want you to step, think. Front stance, front stance, front
A little closer
stance,
to the guy, so
front stance.
just strike like this.
Feather,
Swords upside down.
sword is upside down. Step more to the side. There you go.
Just make sure.
This way.
Okay.
Because the idea is get my, it's like a one step, right? Get my head out of the way and guard.
Okay.
Get my head out of the way and guard. There you go. Good.
Alright, so.
Ready?
10.
Good.
You're striking. I'm gonna.
I'm not.
I have to
Step to the
block.
side.
You're striking.
There you go.
Ready?
Yeah.
So,
To use geometry terms, your guard step in your block should be perpendicular to the downward cut. What does that mean? If Austin makes a downward cut, my step should make a T
A right angle.
from that, or a right angle, yes.
A
Yeah,
correct
you're blocking
angle.
that, right? Yeah.
Mine doesn't.
Which one's the wrong
I'm
one?
gonna practice my cuts when you do that.
Mine's coming apart like they don't. Yeah, so. I'm probably gonna take electrical tape and
Good.
just to be sure.
Okay.
alright. Nope.
Commit more for your step.
Wait.
So you're doing the guard, yeah? You're gonna step out this way. There you go. Think, get your head out of the way. Your head gets moved by your feet. Guarded in the rest of your body with the weapon. There you go. you're making contact and it's angled the right way, you can follow right through it, right? You like slice down, cut, up, slice down, cut,
Follow
up,
completely through.
down,
Cut.
through.
Yes,
Whoa!
maybe move some more into the center.
Trade your sword out for a foam one.
The fool with a red fang.
Did we get our repetitions in with that one?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna borrow Austin again. So we're both going to step with our right and do the one cut. So what we're doing is that we're gonna step to miss on purpose. Okay, so when I take my step, I'm gonna step towards him, but I'm gonna pull across. Right, so we should miss if we're doing it correctly, doing it at the same time. Ready, go. Okay, and then follow through. So I'm doing a couple things with these partner drills. I want to get you in a rhythm. I want you looking to see, just like we do with our one steps, what are the mechanics that happen when the person goes to strike, right? I'm testing them a little bit. I'm making them move faster, right? You're gonna do that side. I also want you to do the other side. So now he's gonna step left and do the 2 cut this way. Again, I'm trying to miss. So we got that drill. So we're gonna do that one 10 times on each side to get that down. The day Grandmaster Shin came in and taught us sword to our instructor's class. He told us he was gonna do 1,000 cuts. He was not kidding. You gotta both cut at the same time.
Start
That's the
in
wrong
position.
cut. Running position,
With your left,
Oh, yeah.
right foot.
step, angle.
Try
Try not to hit each other. So you're trying just to miss. Yeah, I'm in the way.
So
That happens.
aim for, so when I'm aiming, I'm trying to like shave your back.
You want to start
Right.
from
Round
the
it
right.
What's that?
Right,
Your
right.
sword's upside down.
Same time.
Trying to shave your back. So try to shave my back. Same angle as my body.
Okay.
You're going this way.
Sure.
Bring it, pull it towards your hip.
Okay.
Like pull it
Keep your eye on
towards
the
your
target
pocket.
too, right?
Yeah.
This way. So your hand should actually almost like you're pulling here. Like that. Yeah, that twist on there. That's it. You see how you twist your waist more with that one? Your elbows should be tight, right? So if your elbows are way out like chicken wings, bring them in. When you're done with these angled slices, I'm bringing my elbows to
We both did the same
bottom.
thing. Right? Or did I do it wrong? I did it wrong. I know I did it wrong. So we're gonna go up.
Left, right? Okay.
We both step left at the same time. Go ahead.
Alright.
Left foot.
Alternate which direction.
So
you
close
step.
it.
I forgot the way the alternate was.
Two more.
Cool. Alright. We didn't practice these with partner. I'm not gonna do a whole lot of these, but the guard to this one is a little bit different. It would be more like this. So they like what we do with the staff where we hold and kinda go sideways. It would be more like this type of guard with the side to side slices like that. So we're gonna skip those. We're gonna do a couple some one step drills. We're gonna do some repetitions on those to get those down, and then we'll re-review all the partner or all the solo drills with that. So I've got a couple of one step style drills that will help us reinforce some of the other cuts. I'm gonna borrow Austin again. We practiced the first part of that where the attacker is gonna do the downward slice, right? My defense is I'm gonna step out to the side with my right, and I'm gonna do that high block, that upward. So think of it as an 11. For these, we're gonna add a counter attack so we can also practice another cut. So Austin's gonna do his 12. I'm gonna get out of the way Our first counterattack is gonna be a one cut. So here comes around, and there it goes right into where his neck meets his shoulders. Again, so then Austin would do the same thing. I go to cut, and you come around and angle. So important to note, I'm gonna turn this way so they can see. All right. We're gonna distinguish between the cuts. Remember, this is a precision weapon. So we're doing a one slice. So he does his cut. For this particular one, I'm following the line of his uniform. Alright, so there you go. Think of it slicing across the body this way. I'm not necessarily looking to flop off his head with this particular defense. I'm looking just to open him up. Trust me, it'll be enough. Right? If somebody's wearing the armor, I'm trying to slice to peel off the armor before I go in for the next strike. Also, vulnerable spot could be, where the helmet and if they didn't have the type of armor that they came up with, like for the neck, precision, right? I want to hit that spot and then follow through and find the weak point. So do that one 10 times. Each part.
Alright,
Hold on first.
okay,
So,
12.
I'll come, okay,
Further back.
Downward, yep, downward straight. You guys watch me get close to that corner.
So. Oh, okay.
I did more looking forward. I'm still better.
Here.
I did that
So I'm stepping, and then to do the next cut, I'm pivoting my waist, and then pulling my left hand, which is the same thing we practice all the time.
I did it wrong.
Slice.
Oh, okay.
I went up this way.
I went over the years.
I messed that up.
Alright, let's do it.
Alright,
Ready?
swords upside down.
I might have to just like-
You wanna see one? Ready?
Okay,
Alright,
so
so,
you defend this.
I start here. Okay.
Step out to the side, do the block we practiced.
Wait,
There you go.
Stay around and cut my neck
I
off.
stepped the
So-
wrong way.
Spin the sword, cut my neck, yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ready?
Alright, I'm gonna pause for a second and I'm gonna let you guys finish this up, but I just wanna point something out, and I guess I'm working with Rumi, I pointed out to him too. We're not doing really anything different that we haven't done in Tung Sudo without weapons in our hands.
I just,
This hand, that left hand, is trying to get to chamber. The left hand is considered your power hand on the sword, and I apologize if I didn't mention this either. This is your pulling hand. The right hand is your control hand. So that's where I'm stopping, right? With my right hand, I know when I hit my body, I'm done with the cut. This I'm trying to get it right to my hip. So the reason why I want to, as long as you have a foundation or you're willing to pay attention to the foundations, your Tung Sudo is instantly gonna help with your sword. If you remember that, oh yeah, I was told I need a chamber in my hand. There's a reason for that now, right? In self-defense, we use it as like a pulling off balancing thing. With your sword, that's your power hand. I wanna pull my hand to chamber. And then you guys that have done with the forms that have these things, who knows, in that form, that might have been a cut instead of the throw that we sometimes say it is. Maybe at one point the weapon was there and it was this. My hands aren't much different at this point with that chamber position, other than having to hold the sword down. But the action is the same. So as you're doing these cuts, pull them close to your body. Like you wouldn't try to throw somebody or do an armbar or a self-defense technique with your arm way out here to the end. You would pull into your center. So that's what I want you to think about anytime you do a sword cut. I'm pulling into my center as I draw. Okay, so go ahead and finish up your reps on that one, and then we'll do the next one.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do this more than-
Where do I start? I work here.
Whatever you want.
Well, not in front of witness. In front of witness.
extend their arms.
Don't get out of hand. These still hurt. You can still seriously
Practice
injure
stopping
somebody
that
with
leg,
the
you know,
wooden
so
sword.
Yeah,
that's
true,
hard.
true.
You didn't angle it. Angle just makes you could.
Yes,
angle
sir.
it so it's down.
Right, this metal door right here. Yeah, there's a very famous swordsman named Musashi that wrote the Book of Five Rings. It's got a lot of cool things in it for martial artists.
The other side?
Yeah.
There is a story of him defeating somebody that had a metal sword and he had a wooden sword.
Working
He
on
was
it.
he was that good.
Yeah.
You can borrow it from here as long as you bring it back.
Wait, what did you do?
But you can find it. It's a Book of Five Rings
yeah,
pretty much anywhere. It's a pretty famous book.
What did you
Where did that
Yeah.
shop also?
Yeah,
I
the
did the
name
same
of the
thing.
sword
I
studio.
did the same
Yeah,
thing. I
where-
immediately
where is
got
that?
That's
Circle up the head off.
Sakura.
And where is that?
It's on Tioga Ave in Edwardsville, in Kingston.
Okay.
Sensei
And
Long is like one of the top renowned sword masters.
you said it was called Sakura?
Sakura. Yes.
I'll have to Google that.
He knows, and I will default like he knows way more than me.
Put it in there.
That's Musashi's Book of Five Rings. That's recommended reading material for anybody in the martial arts. That's it.
It's a good seller.
It is the best seller. And it's probably up there with the Art of War. It's one of those where people use it in other aspects of life.
Here.
Business people use the Art of War. Business people will use that one as well.
Okay.
So it's got a lot of other editions. I'm confused at the Book of Five Rings.
It's on the quad reading.
At least twice.
I had it.
Yeah. Alright, did we practice that one? Are we ready for the next one? Then to practice the next cut? Austin, ready to have your head chopped off?
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent.
I've been waiting.
That was
Wait,
Yes!
so this was, we did the angle slice first, so now we're gonna practice the three slice. Alright, so he goes to do his cut, I get out of the way, defend. This one I'm gonna bring it straight across. Alright. The numbers don't refer to so much where as how I get there, right? 3 and 4 are side to side, so head is side to side. Those are 3 and 4 cuts. So one more time, I'm gonna step out same way we have been. Boom, there's my flip across. Slice off with this head. Alright, you spurting blood.
Yeah, you let me catch up.
Just like in the animes. Alright. Be careful, don't hit anybody. Remember, like if you hit somebody in the neck with a piece of wood, it's gonna be painful. Pay attention to your surroundings. Just hit him. Good.
Just gonna get this hand up.
Milk was green, they don't even use.
Gross.
Blue metal.
Well, it'd be normal
No,
because
it's the other way.
milk would be green.
So your sword is. See,
Yeah.
You didn't
best
do
way
the
to look
counter
at it is
attack.
this little angle here.
Oh, I messed it up.
That
Caught myself
angle
in the
should go
beginning.
down.
Oh, you didn't do the other. Ow.
You're also holding the first down. You were before.
Oh, you're on the other side.
Hey, stop
Hey,
hitting my
You can go either
sword.
side.
How do you get it to? So, I'm doing the step and then
See,
around.
you tried
Yep.
to,
Go right
before the
to
bind, you tried
the
to.
side,
move
so
over
the
there.
shoulder
You
is
did
high.
it.
One class of
Keep in mind, like when we practice,
You did that on
we
purpose.
practice the big
Well, it always
flourishing
falls.
movements.
Right.
As I'm practicing with the one step, it's kind of forcing us to do it a little bit more realistically. I don't
You
have
fall
Great
time
block,
at that
Thomas.
Two
point
classes.
to bring this big flourish around. So when I do the block, I'm just bringing it around my head. So I'm,
Okay.
if I'm here,
Oh,
I'm really just
Are you having-
flipping the blade as I twist my hips.
Okay.
And this way.
All right. Because well, I was making it look like kind of like
Right.
you know it wasn't really going across.
Yeah.
I screwed up.
Oh.
Drew me.
Oh.
You shouldn't hit that hard.
We said it. Not me.
A little pressure.
I don't
not
think I
going
even
to
hit
kill
that
you.
hard. I
Really, you hit harder than I
You
hit
really
with the sword.
did.
Oh, he broke his sword.
You-
Thomas,
Well, now it really starts. Now you could hurt somebody with it.
Thomas, why did you just grab it?
It stabbed me in the leg.
Why did you just grab it?
Because it bounced up and stabbed me in the
I'm
leg.
really sorry.
Is that Marty's?
That was yours.
I thought that was mine for a second.
I don't know how I managed to.
Okay.
Like, you really don't hit it with full force. It literally,
Yeah, 'cause I didn't break
everything
mine.
you do, I get bruises after I have
You're
to
probably taking a hit right off that one. What are you
down.
I'm serious.
Okay.
Alright.
Do not smash them together. They do break. It is wood.
Yeah, you went like force of 1,000 wounds. Force of a neutron
Your
star.
sword can hit
They-
with power.
Are you guys all done with your reps?
I will
Not yet.
exchange you one of my spares that I was practicing re-gripping on. There you
I
go.
got 2 more.
That one is used for killing vampires from here on out.
Let's see.
Alright, get back to work.
Anti-slime.
I did not need.
You're right by a cracking and waving a selfie.
I think some small stuff, but nothing.
Using this is a huge amount of self-control, right?
Yeah. So, what I was doing.
Step out, walk, right? You're gonna go around your head.
Right.
Off with his head.
So as you do it, now the finer detail of this
Here it is, one guys.
would be
No, not hard.
to be sure that your blade was parallel to the ground before
And this is-
as it came through. One of the ways that, especially like in the Indian practice, they would take the sword into the river
Huh?
and they would cut the water.
Didn't break in half.
And if they cut was
This didn't break?
like
Yeah.
perfect, it would go straight
I'm
down.
not giving you mine.
But you know,
so
with
you best
water,
be
if
careful.
something's
Oh, yeah, no, I know, I know.
wiggle. So that's how they would
That's-
test the precision. of
I'm
the
not
cut.
sharing.
They would cut into the
Yeah.
water, and it would go in nice and even. They knew they were cutting properly. If there was like a wiggle, they knew there was some kind of flaw in the cut. So with this one, you think parallel, right? So I could test in water too if I really wanted to get underneath the water. Swish it through. If it's wobbling all the way through, I know I'm off.
I'm sorry, it's the other claw.
Very
You
cool.
can't have that sword. You get dual wielding. You don't have dual wielding.
I'll return this one.
You don't have
I
ammo.
paid for one sword.
Just as foreshadowing, I have been playing with my axe and my sword as a dual wielding thing, and I'm not
Oh,
saying I
that's-
won't eventually teach a class like that, but
Oh, dude, that's
That's
not
all.
right now. I've also been playing a lot of Skyrim, but like,
Skyrim.
You have to unlock the
I really want to play Skyrim.
it's a good game.
No, this
Hey,
is
you!
Play very
It's
much
dogs.
game.
Oh, what's the person?
I'm currently playing as a heavy armored orc.
Seriously, though, Skyrim NPCs be like, hey, you stop
I feel like
stealing.
the right
Crouches.
side
Oh,
is
must have been the wind.
It was on mistake alone.
Good. So you're doing that like more like that one cut.
You
That's
did the handle
the
wrapping perfect.
So that other one would be a cross. And this was a bit more of a challenge, because you have to get you're almost in that sixth position, right? But then you have
For a
to
little while.
Cool. Yeah.
pivot your body through. It's more body than arm. Like, this is almost equal as I pull through. This one is all body. I'm getting the sword in
You're
position
the attacker, Thomas.
and I'm just twisting through. I'm using my body to cut.
I'll wash your fingers.
Watch your footwork. You want to be balanced with the weapon. Back. Yeah, you're back. See, you're back to him now, right? So if you're here,
Yeah?
I want to be
Give me 2 more.
here.
Extra day.
Actually dead. Repetitions. Alright, we got one more with the overhead strike to practice. Austin's gonna lose his hands this time.
Yay!
If the person can't hold their sword, they can't cut you with their sword. So he's gonna do that
Although it
attack.
could be like a Captain Hook, they just get sword joint things on their hands, so it could actually end up being worse.
I do appreciate the imagination, guys. Alright, so let's see.
Like in the Hobbit
He's gonna do his
movies.
cut. I'm gonna step out of the way. I'm gonna do a bigger pivot on this one and position myself as perpendicular as possible to his arms. And as I do that, I'm gonna come straight down onto his wrists. I win.
Yay.
Like that orc guy in the Hobbit movies.
Yes.
Who has the one sword for his hand.
Yes, that guy. We're not gonna be that guy. Alright, he's gonna attack me again one more time. Off to the side, so that for this one, instead of just twisting my hips, I'm actually gonna pivot and bring my left foot back and drop down this way. So now I'm taking the wrist out on that one. So now, cut off your partner's hands.
Oh, cut off your arms.
Must be sword. Makes more
What's the question? Yes, go to the bathroom. I'll chop them in while we practice the same cuts.
I keep wanting to go left.
And then down. So with this one, steps further towards me, and then that way when you step backwards, you're right on line with the wrists. Down, in, round, chop. Good.
Get a
you've
good
already with that.
retraction.
Yeah, no, but it's for the shot.
Yeah.
Oh, center. It would still work. Just do a bigger step, right? So you're way out here and then step way back here.
Don't sacrifice.
And that's gonna get that
Okay.
end of the sword. The sword is going
I think everybody's on his hook.
There we go.
So now I had to sink to it. Bend your legs. Yeah. Bend it, bend over.
No.
Bend down. Okay. So, go. Yeah.
And these partner drills are just as much experimentation for you to figure out where you need to put your feet in order to do the cut properly. Just like your one-step drills with open hands, they're just as much about where you put your feet in order to get in position to hit that person back.
Are you guys going? Okay.
Alright, Towers, I'm gonna
Don't
attack
stand
you,
idle
'cause I had
if
a
you're-
bunch of.
This is what your practice is.
That's just a line in the road.
Side note, you coming to sparring tomorrow after Qigong?
So I might be babysitting tomorrow. I know. I had it on my calendar too, because I was like, I'll go to King Kong and there's a half hour between, right?
Yeah.
I know. I have to, my watch died, so I have to check my
Alright.
duties. My niece duties that I did today.
Your sparring gear.
I know. I had it on my calendar too. I was gonna tell you.
And then step back.
You guys got your reps in?
Yeah.
You guys got your reps in? Awesome. Alright, let's do a couple from something different. We're gonna work off the attack is gonna be the step. So essentially on number 5. The person's gonna the attacker is just gonna lunge forward, straight in. The target's gonna be the throat, right? So we're just going in for one of these. We're gonna reinforce the same 3 strikes we just did. The defense for this, instead of the big upward flourish that we did like we were doing number 11, is we're just going to feel the pressure from the staff as they spear, and we're gonna guide it out of the way. Okay, so I'm gonna borrow Austin again. We're doing it in slow motion. We're gonna start with cross swords this time. Alright, so we're here. At my nose. So as he moves forward, nope, you're gonna stab in. Okay? Alright, so this is why I want the cross swords. Because as he stabs, I can feel it. And I'm just gonna deflect it out of the way. Yeah, look, see where it's happening. So now I can effectively do that one cut again. He's presented it. And there it is. Whoosh. That way. Okay. So we're practicing the same cuts, but we're doing it off a different defense. And I do these repetitive things because the more different ways you can do the same thing, the better you're gonna remember how to do it, and the most sense it's gonna make to you. So back to this one again. We're cross swords. He's got his sword upside down, so he's gonna turn it back the right way.
I'm
before he
sorry.
stabs me this time. All I want you to do to make the drill a bit easier, don't wind up for me. Watch. I want that. Alright? Because then I feel like you're shooting pole. This. I'm just crossing my wrists. Right? Now I get to bring it around. I'm in position for that one strike. Whoosh. And I finish. Alright, I'm leading now with that shoulder as I finish that way. So we're gonna do that same one cut off that deflection. Go ahead, try it out, do that, get at least 10 repetitions in before we switch to the next one. I see a couple of you doing both sides, that's awesome. This is immediately transferable to both sides. If you're getting that work done. Nice cut.
That was off. That head was off.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on, stop it.
There we go. Stab him.
Watch, go with this one. I want you to go like that. So, like you're more leaning on it and pushing it down. So we're going to think of making like a plus, like a cross.
Alright, that was
Make
in.
a cross with this sword. You're trying to stab him and just moving and stuff.
Wanna move out of the way.
And I go first. Okay, you see it.
Two more.
Great. I have no idea.
Push him sooner. You let him get
Yeah,
through.
right.
As soon as you feel.
That time he was attacking me.
So as soon as watch.
Put that on upside
You
down.
feel
I did too.
when I go to do this.
Pretty sure I
yeah,
did anyway.
you can feel the vibration. You can feel the pressure.
Yeah, I think so.
That's it. That's when you should be moving. It doesn't take long. As soon as you start moving, the weapon's out of the way. If I'm leading with that, I'm off balance. And then I'm
Make
good.
it slow.
Alright, that's what you're looking to do.
That way. And then.
Trying to take pictures with two
That's
things
that.
at the same
I like
time
to
and
move from
getting them.
walking down and then.
The same, yep, that's exactly how you do it.
Got it.
So
Okay.
that's kind of why I had you do that thing at the beginning too, because it helps you get in that transition a little bit better. So this drill where I had you do that figure eight,
Yeah.
you bring it above your head.
That way you can
That
still
helps you do
properly
those
do it. You
transitions.
don't feel like an infinite.
I didn't even start. There.
Almost got me.
Still kind of using it.
Very fast strike.
Don't grab the blade, treat it like a real weapon.
Let me finish the attack.
Good, now add your footwork to it, so that you're stable. I don't want him overpowering me, so I'm gonna, yeah, I need to move my body too. Like, I'm here, and then I'm here.
That was good. I needed that.
Don't wanna just rely on that, because if I'm not
Make sure
quick
you get that
enough,
hip.
I'm gonna lose flesh. So if I'm slower than him and I don't feel it, that's still gonna hurt. And it's gonna, my arm is not in good shape. So I wanna get the body out of the
Okay,
way,
I gotta go around my back more, I think.
then I can do
Just
those.
like the figure.
Yeah.
Just like the figure eight, right?
Oh,
That was a good one. That was nice.
that was good.
That was a good, it almost looked rehearsed.
Yeah, we were practicing.
Yeah, very nice. Good.
Ooh.
The other side.
Yeah.
Slow.
Yes, your entire
Yeah.
Nice.
Two more.
Good. You guys done? You guys done with yours? Alright, so, and I'm noticing a lot over here, like, you're moving better now, And it could, who knows, it could be because you're distracted and you're focused on this part and you're not paying attention to your
Because
tool
I'm
as
trying to
much.
kill it.
Because you're, so, and this is kinda like, the note I wanted to make, like, this is like where weapons training is, sometimes we're relating, like, what we do in Tang Soo Do with the weapon, but like, now it's just making, it's gonna make your Tang Soo Do better now too, because you're moving better with your angles. Now you're realizing, if I need to hit him this way, I need to be in this position and be this balanced. That's gonna directly apply to your one steps and all your self-defense and things like that. And what better way to tell you if you're off balance? If you got something at the end of your reach, it's gonna take you off balance quicker. So you're gonna start to learn how close you need to hold yourself and where you need to be and adjust a little bit quicker. Alright, so the next one we're gonna do is that 3-cut. So we did the angled one to finish, and we're gonna reinforce the 3-cut again. I'm gonna cut Austin's head off another time.
What do you got in your mouth? What do you got in your mouth?
You don't know what's in your mouth?
Cardboard.
Ew.
There's cardboard in your mouth? Dude, share.
Where'd you get that?
He said share. Hey, that's, you can be taxed for that.
Where'd you get the cardboard from?
Where? It's a
Test
tasty
out those
snack.
sticks. Oh, by the way, those are yours.
Oh, awesome.
What?
Totally forgot that I had those back
What?
there. So please don't leave without your sticks. Those came in quicker than most things.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw your message.
Yeah, me too. Alright, so, we ready again?
Yes.
Okay, so he's gonna do that stab. I'm gonna deflect. So this time, we're gonna try, stay a little bit upright, because we're gonna practice the across strike. Maybe didn't commit. So now we're doing the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Different strikes for different scenarios. If he overcommits, go ahead.
Wanna get some more?
I have that slice. If he still leaves his neck out, I'm here. We were talking about footwork. If I step too close, I still have this. If I'm too far away, my reach is a little bit better with the across strike. So as you're practicing these, 1 steps are experimentation time with your partner and with your distancing. Same with your open hand. Play with your footwork. Like, okay, last time I stepped like way out here and I was kind of at the end of the sword. Next time try to maybe step half a step closer, and then you're going to be where the blade should be. Experiment with these things. Go ahead, try that one out. We're coming across the head.
Paper's better than cardboard.
Yes, it is.
True. I was both of them probably saying about it.
Because my phone's talking about that. Before you need to set up a Google
Right,
Drive.
I'm sure.
Invite you to it.
Yeah, and I do that share thing or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever's quicker.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah, I
matter.
don't like. I don't know what
Well, the top off my head.
And then when
Really?
I take on the camera, I'll download another file, and then I will,
Bell.
What do you want for?
I either put my
Forgot that.
laptop here or
Sometimes I
use,
just-
Google Drive.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Take a step in. When you're,
When I come through.
yeah. Step in.
Yeah.
What's that?
Arm guard is this way.
Please, man. I don't even want to. Right? You're like, am I gonna die?
Make a big circle
Did I
around
shut my
your
eyes?
head.
You did? Alright, I'm gonna stab you now. Get me out of this.
There you go.
Or upon line.
Same thing,
Yeah,
it's
Just
a
think,
I'm
it's the bad guy, you want it's the last bad guy, we wanna finish him off, so we have to make that big motion,
With a little bit of flair.
yes.
Later. It's almost.
That was almost a 6 stab, please be careful with the eye stabs. Excellent.
See, prayer.
Walking out with regrets that help. My sword regrets that help. Yours is very sideways.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, this is a purple sword.
This is.
That's the weak word.
No.
Too much of a hack and less of
All
a.
right, you're right.
Do you have a
Well, that's what you get.
I know, right?
All right.
I wish.
I'll give it all.
Reps in. Good. Done. Alright, so I've got two more for this one actually. So we're talking about like just various levels of committal for that attack strike. The first one, Austin kind of fell down a little bit. The next one I told him to not come in quite so aggressive. This one, we're gonna think over aggressive. It's gonna be a really good lesson of why you shouldn't be over aggressive. I'm really chucking that off this one.
Yay!
Alright,
Hang on, let me fix it.
so this one, let's go under the scenario where he's really committed to this stat. Like he's really trying to get me to the point. I drive him and it overcommits him and he's down. I'm gonna come down this way. Yes. And then he's done.
Oh.
Alright. Cool. Yeah, you're doing as well. So again, experiment with how far you have to do the step with the deflection. And as far as the partner, you're gonna start picking up on like how far do they have to commit for me to come down in a 12. And it's an accuracy thing too, because I want to hit the neck. If I hit the back, yeah, I'm gonna do some damage to his spine, but maybe he's wearing armor. Because remember that we were using these things in a time where they're wearing the samurai armor, and there's some protection against the weapon. Slash across the armor, maybe not so much. He's got that vulnerable spot between the helmet and the armor plate, though. Take off his head as he comes through. So accuracy with the sword. So try that one a few times. We'll pick up the number 10. I like the number 10.
It's like a 10.
The shirt's going so high, really can feel my skin.
And the body is
Feel your skin.
but that's a lot harder to do, I think. You know what you do. Okay,
Yeah.
that worked.
Yeah.
So with you for this one, what I want you to do is I want you to commit this way, as if you're overcommitted, right? The lesson here is what happens if you overcommit and you have no control over your strike.
Apparently, you sat there sometime.
Hot potato sword.
That was
Yes, that was better. Yeah, where I'm aiming for the spear, I need to think armor,
Yeah.
right?
Go over really hard. Straight behind you.
If you turn
If you're
down.
wearing armor,
Yeah.
it's harder to poke
What?
through
Well,
the helmet.
Cool.
No, it's not.
Right?
I can't hear anything.
It would easier to get into there.
If I could maybe also be like shoulder joints in armor, right? For-
Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
you're not,
say,
yes,
like,
Harder
you're right.
angle.
So,
You should want kind of like my neck at the end right
so
here.
you're like 5 would be a straight in, and then 6 and 7 are more towards the corners of things. So 5 is center line, 6 is center or outside center line.
Like
So
five,
they could be shoulder.
6, 7, or 5, 6, 7.
Right, exactly. It's not where it goes, it's the direction it goes in.
Do you have the reset gun?
I don't know why I thought of shoulder joints, just
It's not a, because there's
no more armor.
could be weak spot.
Do you have a bump?
Nice.
Are you?
Seriously, a little slow mo.
If you think you want to get a better
Probably.
Okay, cool. These guys are you want to walk on the floor.
A fast one, is that what you said?
Nice.
Alright, Tom, you ready this time?
Might be your thing.
Feeling good with it, honestly. I'm gonna be going home just
There you go.
wriggling the dog, you know what I mean? Like, let's go.
Well, I
Poor
mean,
dog.
I was gonna say this to the end, but like honestly, what you bring is like, yes, we have to treat this like a serious weapon, right? We have to like
Yeah.
any training weapon. We have to treat this as if it's the bladed weapon, especially when we're practicing. So there are dangers to using it, and if we treat it with the respect of it being the live weapon, when we apply things to the live weapon, those skills will transfer. If we do things like this, we're gonna get bad habits. If we're just flipping it around and not paying attention to where the blade is, we get bad habits. But on the flip side of that is, if you're playing with your sword, you're going to get better at it. If you're not picking it up. The difference is when I play with my sword, it's focused play, right? I'm aiming at things, I'm working on flow, but I'm playing, right? I'm battling whatever in my head. I'm reenacting a movie scene I saw, right? I'm grabbing my axe and I'm using both to see how they work. It's still play, but it's focused play, right? The point, like, you need to find some way that you're picking it up for repetition, because if you're not using it, you're not going to get better. It's like any skill, and some skills we pick up to really fast, and some skills we need to work at. But you can do anything you want. You just need to have focused practice on that work. And the more fun and playful you make it, the more better you're going to remember it, and the better way you're going to find ways that it works best for you. So sword, and that's the linkage there with the chart too. Sword, knife, dagger, staff, sticks, hands. Like, you can only move your body so many ways through space. The last one of these we're gonna do. This one's gonna be a little bit quicker one. Please be very, very careful. This is one of the. It's gonna be more or less of like an oh no scenario. Like, he's coming in hot. I'm not even gonna reposition. I'm just gonna use that momentum to hit it. So, how many one steps do we do with that? I let him run into my attack.
So many.
So many, right? Right. Sword is no different. Especially if he's coming in that hot, let him use his energy against himself. So just deflecting and just
Right there. Came a little high on the guard.
and then he's out. All right. Be careful with that one. It's really easy if you're not paying attention to where your stop is to smack your partner in the forehead or the neck. So the theme for this one though is it encourages the attacker to go faster and hope and how you guys can deal with those faster attacks. I saw you guys were working on those faster attacks. Well, it's easy with those other two to take the time and come around because of the position. With this one, if you want to get it, you have to position fast. So it's going to encourage you to reposition your hands a little bit quicker. You want to try that one out? Minimum 10, but don't stand around, you got the goal. Not the spear.
That's a down one.
That would be
Hey.
nice.
I knew I was
No shish kebab.
I saw you twitch.
Careful, you're
Wanna try that?
Yeah.
Wanna go over?
I'm gonna steal Ruby's version.
Walk forward. There you go.
And if this is really awkward for you, because if you
Not killing you.
like Austin is like tall, like let's say he's 7-foot monster, I'm not gonna lift my hands up like this to get his neck, right?
You might have got
He's
me.
gonna be coming down this way.
Yeah, I don't know that
If I
get him?
I did not,
Yeah.
I did not.
Hard to say. I don't think so.
Like, I know.
I think you would get
It's
like.
not that high.
Referral fishing.
That's felt it like kind
I
of
know,
weird.
I'm running away from him
Right
now.
on,
it's
Like,
like
you tried to
regular
fucking
carotid area.
monster and that didn't work, I
Yeah,
don't
I
want
think
to
I'll
be
do
here
that,
anyway.
Look at this.
Puts it in perspective for you.
Do you wanna?
I'll come at you now.
You right first.
Leave the guard!
Finally,
I have
another
a spare.
incident.
It's okay.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Spare line right.
I knew it.
At least it was there, I suppose.
I honestly, with these things, after a while, I just stopped using them because I get irritated with having to adjust them back down all the
Yeah.
time. And with
Now it's
the
just
wrap
thingies.
on it, you
So
know
be
where
careful,
to stop.
please.
Yeah. You'll find out real quick why the guard is there.
Yeah.
There you on the floor. So here's the technique for when on the floor.
Yeah.
Spear.
I did sort of like a,
Downward 5.
I did like
Actually,
this
it's more like a
thing,
downward
but
6.
Love it.
So hold
There
it
we go.
upside down. Like, go like this. Elbow high.
It's strange on the other side, right?
This is just the guide. That's the one for higher sword.
I just kind of like a goofy.
Yeah.
I did a weird
Now,
version
just
of
apply it. What stab is
Part
that?
on that side.
that.
It's not
So
5.
your first move is like a step, right?
It's more like 6 or 7.
get
Yeah,
offline.
'cause where your elbows are.
Hey.
7.
Because you're taking your
The
hand.
way that I went, I was going towards the right.
Yeah,
Now
right.
it's like-
You're getting it. So like as long as you know the direction of the stab,
Yeah.
you can start applying them in different ways.
So you're like this. Right? And then you come across.
It's more of a, for this one, instead of a flat out slice, it's more of a deflect.
Yeah. So
So
you're
I'm not
stepping into
necessarily.
you're stepping into your hands like.
Right, I'm stepping into my hands and the movement from this is driving the weapon through.
Yeah.
And then they're moving also towards, so it's the combination of that gets it. And like, to really honestly, to finish it, it would be kind of anime style, right? So I would come in this way with the step and I'd step through.
Oh, okay.
If I really wanted to finish that slice,
Yeah.
deflect, step through, and if they're still there, whoosh,
Yeah.
right off with the head.
Don't try that. Step in and turn.
Like spin it. Like should we set you?
Sure.
I don't know.
Here.
Austin, can you place this line? Tell me, do you believe?
Hanging by his spinal cord.
Tell me, do you
Right,
believe?
son.
No, wait, what did you say before that?
What are you guys doing? Practice the
I'm
moves.
in
Come again?
position. The lines tell me, do you believe? Do you
No.
believe?
Yeah.
Try and place it.
It's from Batman v Superman.
Superman versus Batman.
Step through. Spin.
It's Batman v Superman.
Keep going.
Superman?
Oh, we're trying to get the anime
Scared,
spin.
yeah.
So-
Superman versus
Scary.
Batman.
What it says in the next
Here.
final fight.
There's the cut.
No.
Oh.
We can step out this way.
Oh, I see.
I can get a double cut if I really wanted to.
I'm just thinking of those guys
And then
who
in the
cut it
final
to
fight, he
Tommy.
says, I will make you
The
angry.
repeated.
Yeah,
Austin.
but that would be these types of drills, right?
Yeah.
So it would be like, up, down. They kind of did that before.
Yeah.
It's an up cut, down cut. Or they would, depending on which one they're doing. This combination, that's that recovery that we're working on now too. It's really neat to watch, and that's another skill in its own.
Did something.
I'd like to work up to, with this class, of teaching maybe like a level 2, where I've seen people cut paper with the wooden sword.
Yeah.
Because you're testing edge line, right? Am I slicing properly? And paper is a good telltale sign for that. Because if it doesn't cut, it means your edge is wobbly or not lined up right. And then the next level would be then the tatami with a live blade. Way down. That takes a lot of cutting. Those edges are sharp. That sword on the wall will will cut.
This is
And it's real
$25
easy.
a piece.
Yeah, and-
Just-
yeah. So, but in World Tung Su, for competition, you're not allowed to use a live blade anymore. They have World Tung Su Association has like the weapons that they recommend, but I have different ones. Like I found that one, the one that I keep trying to play with my weapon. I'm at a different site, right? But theirs are okay, but they have aluminum. So there's different materials you can use for the metal training ones. I'm a purist when it comes to the sword. I got the heavier wooden ones because they're more representative of how heavy the sword is. Maybe before we finish, I'll grab my live blade off the wall just so you can feel the weight and my steel one, so you guys can all kind of compare, like this is why you're starting like with this, is to get your arms built up and used to that. And then you would move up to the steel blade. And once you're working with the steel blade, then you can start transferring to a live blade for cutting purposes. But World Tung Su has aluminum blades. They used to have one that was closer to a Korean style sword that they you see a lot of them out. A lot of the masters have them, and some of the higher ranks before the guy stopped making them. He was making them in the UK, but it's a straighter blade. The guard is this like skinny little piece of metal, but it's set up more like a Korean sword. The current ones that they have out are more like the Japanese ones. But like I said, even this aluminum trainer that was like they were handmade on request in batches. It was $300-400 for that aluminum trainer, and I don't have them because I don't like them. Like they're too light. I've been practicing with like a heavy sword since I started using them. And like funny stories, when I worked with one of my other instructors, he wanted me to do a demo with him, and I'm always using my steel trainer, and he's like, no, well, for purposes like just so we look the same, he's like, can you use my extra aluminum trainer because it's the same as the one he had. So there's part in the one form where you draw this way. Well, I was used to the weight on my steel one, and I almost threw his aluminum blade across the audience. And I went, oh, and I caught the grip and just like, but I felt it. I'm like, if I would have let go of that would have looked really bad for me. But and that's a factor though, but I don't like the aluminum blades. They make the singy sounds without the work. Like the repetition work is these don't cut, like these don't cut the way they're meant to cut without that practice, without the repetitious practice and the precision of getting it down. Like I mentioned to you guys, they would practice in the rivers or the lakes or whatever, and they would just chop into the water. And if the cut was aligned, it would go down and it would come back up. If it wasn't, it would wobble and you'd feel it, right? You could do the same thing underwater with the side-to-side cuts. Then they would test with the Tommy pads. You'd hear all some of the legends where some of the blades of the bigger known people, they would test out on the people that were in the prisons.
Yeah.
How many prisoners can I cut through today?
It's written on the sword.
Yeah. Match marks.
Yeah, it's written how many prisoners they cut through.
Right?
Body parts, sorry, different body parts.
They take decks.
They'd have like all their arms lined up, tied, cut through all their arms.
Gross. The gross reality. And the fun fact about swords is this particular weapon, like the only use it was created for was wartime fighting. Like knives you can use for cooking, right? Like you can't chop onions safely with this, right? Right.
Casey Jones.
I mean, I could probably, cut myself a side of beef, but it's not going to be the nicest looking,
Brazilian
right?
steakhouse.
Right? If you're old enough to know, like the old Saturday Night Lives, you had the Samurai Deli,
Oh yeah.
but
What's that
not
about?
realistic.
What's that?
Jim Belushi was really funny. You'll have to look it up on YouTube. Or John Belushi, sorry, John Belushi, his brother. But it's repetitious practice, and that's where it kind of takes me back to the play. Like play with the weapon. Find a spot that you're comfortable, that you're not going to hit anything, and go through those different cuts. And that's why, like I gave you guys the solo drill, so you're not really learning a form so much and having to remember that. You're just practicing the cuts, right? even if you get the numbers out of order, it doesn't matter, or even if you don't have to count it, the number of the slice doesn't matter, it's the angle that I'm attacking the person. That's what's important about that. That's why I don't get harped up on like, oh, you did the wrong number. The number does not matter. It's, am I doing a side to side, or a corner, or corner to corner? Am I coming across this way? All right, this is the same. All right, straight in is your 5. If my elbows are high, Rumi's like, well, can we poke in the shoulders? Oh, sure. That's still a 6 and 7. If I'm accurate, but if I'm stabbing, I better be pretty accurate to run them through. The most common ones that we use in our forms are the top to bottom ones. So you have your 1s and your 2s. Those are super common. This is used a lot. Like this is your big one. I feel like when people see the sword, this is what they think about. Right? They think of this type of thing and these type of slices. We tend to forget about these upward cuts. But we use them. They're there, right? The side to side cuts are basic one. The first one that you would be required to learn at second degree uses these side to side cuts. Right? The form that we're going to go over one more time before we leave tonight. But that form, I actually would just learn the sequence from another master, and I've been applying that to every single thing we pick up. Because again, the more ways you can do that one concept and apply it to other ways, the faster you're gonna learn those other things. There's gonna be a connection between what you already know and what you're now learning. And that's gonna make it a lot quicker to learn. Any questions? Yes, sir.
How would the slightly curved blade affect stabbing? Because it's not really like a spear point.
It's not meant to be a stabbing implement, but it's the option is there, right? That's not my main method of using this would be a stab. But it would be there, right? It's an option.
I'm just wondering if there were any effects from the not spear point tip and the slight curve.
Well, it's a beveled point.
Yeah.
The blade is sharp. It'll go through. It'll probably, follow depending on how you follow.
There's different points too.
There's different
sword makers make different points.
Yeah.
I guess on this point.
All right. So let's do this. Let's go through the solo drill, the 12 cuts. We'll do it up and back, and then I'll grab my steel trainer and then my live blade so you guys can kind of check out the difference in weights to get an idea of what I'm talking about with that. No, we're going to do it up and back once with me, and then the second time I'm just going to count it out like you guys do. Make you memorize. All right, here we go. Guard position. We're going to step with the right leg first. Corner to corner. 1, 2, side to side. 3, 4, stab 5, high stab 6, other stab 7. We're gonna make a circle for 8 as we step forward. 9, slice up at an angle. Good. 10, other angle. 11, we're gonna step and go straight up the middle. And that positions us to step forward with 12 to go the other direction. And then we'll go back the way we came. 1, 2, 3, 4, stab 5, 6, 7, circle 8, 9, up angle to angle, 10, up the other way, complete the X, 11, straight up the middle and turn step 12. Okay. Now, when I came back, I switched feet. The feet are not as important as long as you're stepping as you do these. So don't get caught up in it's like, oh, I stepped right and I slept this way. I can step and do this.
That's okay.
It still works. It's a little awkward. It's not ideal, but you're still practicing the cut, right? You're still practicing that angle. So don't get too caught up as if your feet are moving in the wrong direction. As long as you're just taking a step per cut. All right, guys, you ready? You go by yourself up and back with the numbers.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're on guard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, way back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Awesome job. And borrow. Cool. Alright, hey, awesome job. Any final questions?
No, sir.
Alright, so the goal of tonight was just to start to familiarize yourself with the handling of the weapon and show you that you're already doing a lot of the motions, right? Everybody in here has done a night like a chop, right? We've done these chopping moves this way. Those are sword cuts, right? We've done hammer fists in this manner. Those are sword cuts. We've punched people ad nauseum. Those are stabs, right? You're doing all these motions already. Chambering, that I'm sure that if I'm not your main instructor, I'm sure your instructor has mentioned chambering about a bazillion times. If you're chambering properly, you're gonna be doing your sword cut more properly, right? The postures that we do with the empty hands are not any different than what we can be doing with the open hands. So, when you're practicing, be mindful of whether or not the weapon's in your hand. Be mindful of what you're doing with your body. Where am I hitting? How am I positioning that? What points am I hitting? Because those things are important. If I can slice across this way, but like when we were just talking about the armor, if I don't take into consideration that part there is going to be guarded from that cut, I need to realize that I need to go deeper to get into some place that wouldn't be covered by armor, right? So then I play with footwork. Then you can start doing things like just listen for the sound. Like you can tell the sound of a good cut. It doesn't sound as forced. You don't feel like you forced yourself through the cut. Right? It's a real higher pitch, especially when we start using the blade, not the live blade, but especially the live blade, but the steel trainer. You practice with this enough, once you pick up the steel trainer, you're gonna find that you're making those beautiful sounding cuts a lot easier because you have the repetition down. It's absolutely necessary to get good at anything is repetition. Alright, so I'm gonna get my trainer out and then I'll pull down my live blade. Do not unsheathe the live blade. You can pick it up like this to see what the weight is. Let's just do it one at a time. Come on, Rumi. We'll go highest to lowest.
But he's
Chatsling. Oh, sorry, Austin. Rumi, you were standing in the highest belt spot. There's Austin.
didn't line up. So.
Steel blade,
That's heavy.
live blade.
That's heavy.
Now imagine being out in battle, however many hours, trying to survive with this in your hands. This is why we train. Next.
Yeah.
Really good hook.
Now it's you.
Heavier.
That's like 3.5 pounds.
Yeah. That's way heavier than the
Yes.
train.
Next.
Fairly heavier.
You watch the arm drop. Yeah, right? Thomas.
It's way heavier than that.
Oh, yes, they are.
Well, you're like, when you pick it up on the handle, and he's like, your grips during his.
Yeah, cast iron, I hold with 2 hands.
Yeah, you should.
Next.
It's like, when you pick it up off the stove, just like, where it's kind
I don't think so. I don't
We
think so.
have one that's like.
Can you balance? Yeah,
This would be like the perfect.
Yeah, you want to balance. You want a good balance, whether it's a steel trainer or live, like obviously the live blade. But if it doesn't have a balance to it, it's not going to cut as nice.
I'm guilty for taking it
Yeah. So,
I missed my turn, but I'm not in uniform.
that's okay. So what?
off. This? No.
Yeah, big difference, right?
Right.
So the wood trainers are a nice weight that'll build you up to this. It's like weight training, right? You're not going to go and bench double your body weight right off the bat. You're going to start out nice and easy. That's your wooden one. you get comfortable with the cutting, make sure you're doing it right. You get yourself a good steel trainer, you're gonna get even better workout, right? And then someday you get really confident, you're cutting properly, you get yourself some tatami mats, go out in your backyard and scare your neighbors. I haven't done that yet. I can't wait. Got my own house, my own yard, I can do that now. What are they gonna do? Call the cops? They probably will. Alright, don't threaten cops with your sword, it's a good way to get in jail. Alright, now, final note is remember that these are weapons, right? So like I say, play with them, but you do have to treat them with respect. You can get hurt and you can hurt somebody else with this. Staff, wooden sword, wooden dagger, you want to treat these as if they were the real thing. Even extreme to the point I was mentioned in Book of Five Rings, there is a story in that Book of Five Rings where the sword master, Musashi, defeated somebody with his wooden trainer who was using a steel, like a live bladed weapon. He was that good. So you get good enough. It doesn't matter what the medium is. It's your footwork, it's your positioning, it's your strategy. It's kind of the point of that book, right? It's how much you train. All right. Any final questions? Awesome. Yes, sir.
Did he defeat the person by doing what I did, breaking the sword and stabbing?
No, he smashed him in the head.
How did he not break his trainer, his wooden trainer on the metal?
Would it matter at that point?
Probably not.
Just get himself another one.
Yeah.
It was a life or death fight, Ruby.
Yeah.
Read the book.
I like
Read the book. It's a really cool story. That's your character. Read the book to find out exactly how that happened. It is a really good story. It's got a lot of really good lessons in it. All right, awesome. Should we get a final group photo?
That's what
And look fierce.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do that. Move this out of my notes out of the way. Once I get them better compiled and then edit that, I'm actually going to turn that off. We'll